Hi, this is Regina White Favors coming to you with Rebound Relationship Special Topics. This is part of my Life Rebound and Recovery series where I explore particular trending topics and also just everyday relationship topics. Take some time to listen to this audio discussion, maybe gain some insight. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment and I will respond. Also, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the notification button if you're interested in further topics. This is Rebound Relationship Special Topics. Thank you very much for visiting the channel. So, when you usually meet your snake, you usually walk up to the person, making a move before you understand. This is something that I had to realize. This last relationship is the first time in all of my 45 years that I have ever walked up to a man. And it was simply just to shake his hand. I went up to and introduced. I really wasn't even trying to flirt or get to know him or anything like that. It was just we were in the same boat situation, and I can be honest because I put it in my book. We were in the same shelter. It was the Salvation Army shelter, and I was on the women's side and he was on the men's side, and so I would go and do my freelance because I still wasn't able to find a job just yet. And I didn't know what he was doing. But the day that I saw him was in a restaurant, one of these little, burger places. And so I had just come back from doing some work and I needed a little burger because in the shelter, oftentimes you don't eat when you really want to eat. And so another shelter resident was in the restaurant with some friends. And so he was about to leave, and he said hi to me, and I said hi to him because he's just a friendly, nice person. And then he had said hi to the guy that I walked up to. And so once he left the restaurant with his friends, well, I walked up to the guy, smiled, shook his hand. And I honestly believe it was really that innocent. I didn't look for him. I didn't think about him. I didn't ask him for a number or anything like that. It wasn't until maybe like a week or so later that I ran into him outside, and that's when things kind of started up for us. But when you meet your snake, you usually walk up to him yourself. And making a move before you understand, meaning that even if it turned out that I was interested in him much later, it would have benefited me as I think about it now as a 45-year-old. And this was somewhere between 38, 39, 40, 41, somewhere around there. It would have been better to listen than to sort of, I wasn't aggressive, but I might have been forward, right? And in some ways I was forward and telling him all about my dreams and everything I want to do, and maybe bragging a little bit and all that kind of stuff. And it would have been better to just let him talk. I've noticed men say this a lot of times, that they really want to find out about a woman, let her say everything. Let her talk through the conversation, the date and everything. And you'll be able to recognize her vulnerabilities, right? Her weaknesses. And that's how he sort of got me too, because I talk too much. I tell too much. I don't do it anymore. I might mention a few things because that's what I'm doing, and I want to kind of, have a conversation about it, but not like I used to where I told everything. And so making a move before you understand who that person is. I have, in many past cases, have just had conversations with people, and we talk, they talk, I talk, and there was a lot that I could detect in the conversation. I don't understand why I didn't do the same with this situation. My blinders were truly on. I mean, I just couldn't see it, for what it really was. It took me, getting into the relationship. And honestly, I'm not advocating that. It shouldn't take you to experience a whole bunch of pain to learn from a whole bunch of pain. You know what I mean? So making a move before you understand. Take some time to listen to the person. Let the person talk. Don't be so quick to manage the conversation because you're going to miss out on a lot. When you meet your snake, you usually steer the relationship, putting in all the effort. This is something that I talked about in Why Relationships Fail. That a lot of times when they're not doing anything, you start something. The art of negotiation is not to be the person to first say something, right? Not to be the first person to say something. And in romantic relationships, we throw all of that wisdom and technique and strategy out the window. But the romantic relationship is really a negotiation. That when you are steering the relationship, the person is sitting back in the back seat of the car and watching you. Have you ever entered a classroom? You always have people who sit up there at the front, and then you have people who love to sit at the back like I do. And when you sit at the back, you see everything. You take in the whole room, the dimensions, where people sit, how people talk, how they converse with other people, how they discuss, how they raise their hands. You see everything. And the person that you are steering is seeing everything. And they're seeing that you're going to do it, whatever it is, regardless. Now, they tend to be resentful of your work ethic. And in some cases, is it a true work ethic, or are you maybe trying to impress the person, maybe trying to manipulate the situation, the relationship? It can be a number of factors, but regardless, they are looking at you steering the relationship, and they're not looking to say, okay, I'm going to come up to the front and take over and drive, and you can sit in the passenger seat, meaning that they're not ready or unwilling to come up to the front and take over and take responsibility, cover you as a husband, or as a husband, and begin to direct the relationship in leadership. Okay, no, they have no problems with letting you take the lead. They're not going to do anything to contribute. They're not going to do anything to support. They're not going to do anything to confirm or reinforce the idea that you two are in a relationship as marital partners, long-term partners, right? They're not going to do anything to give you a title. You're going to give your own self a title. You're going to say that you are what you think you are. With the situation with the ex, I just automatically assumed that we were fiance, even though he didn't propose. I automatically assumed that we were engaged because I had the understanding that I didn't want to just live together, even though we ended up actually living together. And I put in all the effort. And I was driving down the wrong road, and he was on a different. Even if he was in the car, he was on a different path. He was in the car. He could have still been in the car, but still on a different path. And I just got the revelation of that right now. And so you usually steer the relationship when you meet your snake. When you meet your snake, you usually facilitate the chaos. So you put up with old girlfriends and new love interests. So in the situation with the ex, and you see this as is talking about the ex is the main topic here, because it is the most central example of where I went wrong. You tend to facilitate. So if you look at the situation and the ex is calling him and he's calling the ex, and you're trying to figure out if they are together, you will facilitate. So in my situation, I called the ex. I told her to come meet with us up there at the restaurant because we needed to hash this out, right? Make sure that we are like truly, you are truly not with this person. So she comes up there and everything, and I'm thinking that we're going to, this meeting is going to be really productive, and all he has to do is just say this one thing to her that is over, or we're not getting back together. Whatever it was that was important at that time to say, whatever he needed to say, so we can get back to our life. No, that's not what he did. What he did was he confessed his dying love to her right there in front of my face. Right there in front of my face. And I was in shock. I could not believe that it was happening like that. But no matter what, even though he did that, and even though she called me later and said they're not together, I still took that as, okay, I guess we have a shot. Now, I don't have a self-esteem problem. I've never had a self-esteem problem. I've had people to throw water on my mirror, and maybe that affected me, but I've never been in a relationship where I just put up with something like that. But I did. I was shocked that I did it. Even now, I'm still shocked. And so I will still facilitate the chaos that they were creating. And the chaos was, she figured out somewhere along her little journey, she figured out, well, I don't have to let him come back and live here, but whenever I want to have sex, I can have sex with them. Let her take care of him. Me, and the her being me. So then whenever she wanted to pull at him, she did. Whenever she wanted to kick him back, she did. Whenever he wanted to go to her at her beck and call, he did. Whenever she would kick him off to the side, he would, come back running to me, talking about he loves me and he wanted to work everything out. But it was a lie. It was a snake. It was a different belief system, and they were trying to get me to accept the belief system. It's sort of like they wanted me to accept what you see on these show. Sister Wife, right? They wanted me almost to be like a sister wife or something. I take care of him, but she gets to have sex with him, So the more you facilitate that chaos, the more you are just encouraging a heart attack or encouraging yourself to catch a case. So I had to make a decision. What I did, I started facilitating it, but in a different direction. I got him to save money, so when I finally kicked him out for good, I wouldn't feel bad that he left without anything. I got her to believe that we were working things out. So the more you think that you are working things out, the more you believe you can keep coming back and pull at that person. Because if I told her it was over, she would have been afraid that he would start coming after her 100%. So as long as she thought that I really, really wanted the relationship, she would keep coming after him. And then we stopped having sex. So the more that we stopped having sex, the more that he felt like he had to go get sex from her. So I let them build whatever they were going to build. I let him build her savings. I let him build a relationship with her. She still didn't take him back, but it didn't matter. So then when it came to the day that I knew that I was fed up, beyond fed up, and kicked him out for good, he had more than enough money saved. He, in the thousands. It looked like they were trying to, get back together or something like that. So I didn't feel bad when I actually kicked him out for good. So when you meet your snake, you often facilitate the chaos. You try to be the go-between old girlfriends and a new interest, because in addition to that, he was trying to, create new romantic partnerships. So he was just a sick person. There's a lot going on with him that I can't really share, but I can share the fact that it's some things that he just did not get healed in his life. Because in my mind and in my understanding, I believe he's really trying to destroy women. And that's what I truly believe. And you can see it in the way that he interacts with women and what he does. So when you meet your snake, you tend to facilitate the chaos. When you meet your snake, you usually risk your own health and sanity trying to balance the lies. And this goes back to maybe really trying to convince yourself, even in it's your deluded self, that this situation can work. I just know it can work if we just stick it out, if we talk about it, if we pray about it, if we do all that we can, get some counseling about it, set some goals for the relationship, do whatever we need to do. I know that this can work. Even though in the face of the relationship, you got all these people surrounding you who are telling you that it's not working and it's never going to work. She was the kind of person, his ex, who knew that she could call him at any time she wanted. She actually said it to him that she could call him at any time she wanted and he would come running. So they were basically telling me that the relationship that I had with him was never going to work. So it really didn't matter um, um, what I did. But I do know the one time that I found out that he was still cheating with her, I remember calling her and asking her about it, and then she confirmed. And then I remember standing at a gate or something in my neighborhood, and when she said what she said about it, it's like my breath just left me or something. It took my breath away. And that's the first time that has ever happened. And I came back into the house and I just went to bed. It's like I slept for just the rest of the day, and I had just come home from work, and I was silenced. I just couldn't say anything. That's why I say these audios that I'm doing now, this is sort of really the first time I'm just kind of talking through these past situations. You know, with the other series, when they marry someone else, and then the Life Talk series, these series are a way for me to just really understand and really get an idea, an understanding about what actually went wrong, why I chose that type of person, what sort of mind state I was in, state of mind I was in. And so you balance the lie. You lie to yourself while you're trying to also balance the lies that he is telling you as well. So you usually risk your own health and sanity. And you know, if you really want to have a heart attack, if you really want to have a mental health condition later, just stay in one of these toxic relationships with a liar. A liar is the type of person who lies to maintain control, and they lie just basically out of fear because they didn't really want to be revealed. And so they're the types of people who are just not going to change their minds about what they are doing. All right, so this is the last one. When you meet your snake, you usually recognize the crossroad moment that I noted at the beginning of this audio. You struggle with leaving, and that's very important. That you struggle with leaving. Um, it took 2 years and 8 months for me to decide to leave that relationship after many revelations, finding out he was married 2 years and a few months in, finding out, and then throughout the whole spell of that particular relationship, cheating. He cheated, multiple times, losing his job on purpose, not doing everything he was supposed to do as an adult male, and realizing that I was taking over the relationship as if I was the person in charge. I take 100% responsibility for my part. I'm not going to take ownership of his part, but I am going to take 100% ownership of my part. That for one, I should never have been in that type of relationship. I should never have walked up to him and introduced myself and shook his hand. I should never have done that. I was on another path to do the things that I was already doing, and that situation really ran me down. Being in that toxic relationship ran me down. And you know, it's been since 2016 and I'm still in recovery. 2016, February the 20th, 2016. I'm doing this audio on February the 11th, 2020. So I'm short 9 days, right? But it has been since 2016, and I'm still in a state of emotional, psychological, financial, and spiritual recovery. So I just want to encourage you that when you find yourself at a crossroad moment, you have every right to stand up for yourself, to not take advantage of yourself, to believe in yourself, and that you do need to have the courage to leave a situation. Don't be afraid to be by yourself. I'm in a state of solitude right now on purpose because my life cannot take many more hits. It can't take many more hits. If I got into one more situation, it might cost me my life, or it might cost me my sanity. And it would definitely cost me any dream that I ever had for myself. So when you are at that crossroad moment, if you met your snake, that snake is asking you to compromise, to give up anything that you've ever wanted to do, to shortchange yourself, to cut corners, to not believe that it can actually get done. Because the long way, the narrow way, is going to take time and learning and development. It is the boring way, or the way that we like to call boring. And honestly, that is the way. Some things take time to develop. And you shouldn't be afraid to learn and develop. And that goes for your participation in a romantic relationship. So think about this. Think about this crossroad moment. It's one of those, every day we make decisions, but there is a life crossroad moment that could take you down a very dangerous, deadly, tragic field type path. That's is It's the crossroad moment before you die a tragedy. And I do not plan on dying a tragedy. All right, so hopefully you were able to gain insight from this video discussion. Please like, subscribe, and visit. So uh, please like the video, hit the notification bell for more discussions. I am re-uploading all of my audios, so I needed to make some changes to them. You can visit my website for more content at reginayfavors.com. If you want to send me an email, you can send an email reginayfavors@yahoo.com. Please also purchase the book. It's going to come out in spring 2021. So I had to make changes to my book to update it, and I also updated the title. So the original title was Bait, Hook, and Switch: Confessions of a Rebound Girl, and I have updated the title to Toxic Encounters: Why People Pursue Rebound Relationships. So right now I'm still basically editing it, and I want to make it available in spring 2021. So thank you very much for visiting my channel, and I am Regina Y. Favors. Have a great day.